All right, what is up? We're diving straight in with this one today. We are talking about how to find your passion because this is a big problem, right? A lot of people, they work jobs they hate, they aren't passionate about it, and this ends up causing a bunch of suffering that they don't have to go through. If you simply went through the process of finding your passion, staying consistent and following through with this stuff, then you will have a much more fulfilling and meaningful life. So again, work is a necessary aspect of life. If you do not love your work, you are going to hate your life because work is a necessary aspect of life. And the overwhelming thing that I see all the time is that people complain that they can't find their passion when in reality they tried something for 2 weeks, they gave up, and that's what's in their mind now. They think they can't find their passion because they tried something for a little amount of time, didn't give it time to marinate, and now they are stuck back in a place of passionless work. Now, the other problem that we will dive into here as well is that people think that they need to be passionate about the work itself as opposed to the problem that is being solved by their work, right? The tool versus the thing, what is actually being solved. So being passionate about what is being solved as opposed to the tool for solving it, because over time with technological advancements, with everything going on in the world, the tools are going to change. But the biological problem that people experience that you are passionate about solving, the problem of the world, your life's work, what is the burning problem that you want to solve in the world? That is the question that you are trying to figure out, and that is what is sustainable in terms of passion. The tools for actually accomplishing that work are going to vary, and they are going to change and shift and pivot, and you are going to have to adapt to those while remaining passionate about the actual problem. So now the thing is, what causes passion? Passion is created at the intersections of your interests, while also the utility that the intersections of those interests can solve. Right. This was studied in The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. I've researched a lot on passion because passion is a feeling. Passion is neurochemicals in your brain that occur after a series of you doing something in alignment with who you want to become and in alignment with your curiosity and your interests. And that poses another problem of the modern world where we are so used to pursuing the things that other people want for us. That's why we go to work, to become a cog in the machine, to solve a problem that needs to be solved because other people need it to be solved. So you're an employee for their passionate work, if they are passionate about that stuff. But that's the thing, is that we are so used to pursuing things that other people want for us rather than pursuing the things that we want. So that's the first shift that has to happen, and you need to embrace that intuitive curiosity that you have, that innate curiosity that you have, and start being open to pursuing certain interests, right? I talked about the iceberg of opportunity in a video a few weeks back where everything is an iceberg. You can quite literally become passionate or monetize anything. And that's the thing that most people miss out on. So that's what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for intersections of your interests, and we're looking for applied utility. So those intersections being able to solve a problem. Now, let me explain this in a process that I call the passion process. Very original. But remember this, the passion process is how you cultivate passion for your work. Now, this is a 3-step process that goes 3, 2, 1. Very easy to understand. 3, 2, 1. The first thing, 3 interests. I call this phase interest immersion. You are immersing yourself in your interests. How do you do that? By learning, by being curious and actually learning about your interests. So for the 3, you need 3 resources. So I recommend a book, a long form resource, and a short form resource, all revolving around the same interest. Let's say your interest is health and fitness. Let's say bodybuilding, right? You need to get a tad bit specific about this. So rather than health or wealth or relationships, it would be bodybuilding, freelancing, or picking up girls, confidence, I don't know, something within those realms, right? So let's go bodybuilding. You are going to buy a book on bodybuilding. Why? Because this is going to give you a broad overview of almost everything that comes into play when it comes to bodybuilding. There's going to be a lot of intersections there. You're going to make a lot of connections, and you're going to start to understand the real world utility of that skill. You'll probably start bodybuilding just because you are learning about bodybuilding. Now, the long form resource is a podcast or a favorite blog. So find a bodybuilding podcast, find a bodybuilding blog, pick one of those, and read. Read an article, maybe once a day, once a week, just something. You're immersing yourself in the interest, and this is while you're reading the book as well. You are quite literally getting close to above average, if not expert level. Not expert level, but you become very well read in the subject, right? And the third thing, the short form resource, is a social media account, someone that you vibe with, right? A bodybuilding account that you vibe with. And this takes some testing, experimentation, and finding who you actually vibe with. But I would recommend that you be very careful with this, because I'm not a huge fan of social media or short form resources, even though that's what I do for work. It's not good to have your subconscious mind munching on thousands upon thousands of ideas every single day. You scroll through Twitter, you expose yourself to 1,000 different opinions, and then your mind, this is why you have brain fog and mental friction, is because you have so many ideas that your subconscious is munching on and you're not able to think clearly. So with all of those, with those three resources, book, long form resource, and short form resource, you are going to become very well read on the topic of bodybuilding or whatever your specific interest is. You are going to start make connections there. You're going to start applying things to your life. It's just going to happen naturally if this is actually an interest for you. Now, you will start to, what you're trying to notice here while you are immersing yourself in these interests are the things that cause a spike in dopamine. Because dopamine attached with purpose or utility is what creates that passion, right? So you're noticing the things that spike that dopamine, that cause that excitement. It's a feeling. When you're reading things and something sticks out to you, you know, when a sentence of the book just hits different, it's like, oh, that's it. That's what I was looking for. That's super interesting. You note that down. Why? Because as you explore more, you're noting down these gold nuggets or the dopamine spikes or the things that cause excitement. Those are what matter to you. This is what makes your passion unique to you, is that you have specific things that stuck out to you and that got you the most results. So when it comes to time to monetize, these golden nuggets, these very important pieces of information that cause that dopamine spike, this is going to be how you pass on the lessons, because those are what had the most impact on your life. Do you understand what I'm saying here and how powerful that can be? Remember that. So that's step one of this 3-step passion process. The second step is 2 outlets. And by this, I'm going to say 2 projects. Okay, you need a way to apply the information that you are using to the real world. And this is done in sync with your interest immersion, so you can connect the dots there, right? You can tie the information that you're learning to a real world project. If you're learning about bodybuilding, I recommend 2 things. These are 2 projects, one personal project and one possibly business project that can go on, or I would say a hobby project or a side project, side business that can go on to be monetized, right? So the first one, you're applying it to yourself. So you're solving your own problems. With the bodybuilding, you're applying this information, you're getting jacked, you're seeing results, and you have something to tie the information back to. Now, the same thing happens with an external outlet. So let's say you start a social media account as a side business or a side hobby or a project, and you start to teach people, right? And what you're looking for here is the passion in how you are actually teaching these things. Now, this also implies that you'll have to learn how to grow on the platform, but you can start a blog, you can start other things. You just need an outlet to actually teach this information and see that passion in yourself and test the potential utility. Now, when all of these things come together, you have pattern recognition and in combination with the potential utility. So pattern recognition is just more dopamine. It's connecting the dots. That's why you need a project or an outlet and information that you're actually learning, or else your note taking and bookmarking and everything else is a complete waste. You shouldn't be learning note taking or bookmarking or whatever if you don't have a project to tie it back to, right? Because then pattern recognition doesn't come into play. That momentum isn't building. You're not experiencing more of those dopamine spikes because you're not able to tie it to something. If you aren't actively bodybuilding, then the information you're reading on bodybuilding, you're going to miss a lot of crucial information that you could potentially be passionate about because you don't actually do it. You're not applying it in the real world. So that's how you test these things and build momentum and start to create something out of this. But now where the passion really comes into play is the utility. What problem of your life did you solve that is very apparent in other people's lives, and that there is an industry around online or somewhere where people are already making money from this, and you can take your lessons and pass them down in a passionate way to solve that problem, right? And now the problem that bodybuilding solves may be weight loss, right? If weight loss changed your life and you're passionate about weight loss, bodybuilding was just a tool to get there. There are many different ways to solve weight loss for different people, and bodybuilding will be one of those. But you get what I'm saying here about the passion being built around the problem of losing weight in a specific way to increase someone's quality of life. And you can be very passionate about that no matter the tool, because you understand the impact and the why behind the impact that it had on your life and that it will have on others' lives, so they can go on to be passionate about that as well. Now, the last step of this 3-step process is remember, is 3 resources, 2 outlets, 2 projects, and 1 month. So 1 month time you give this. You need to give it more than 2 weeks. You need to give it more than a day. You need to give it enough time to marinate in your head and kind of sift through the distractions of everyday life, because that's what happens to most people is they go back to the comfortable life that they were living and were like, oh, that wasn't my passion, whatever. But that's the thing. 1 month, and then you reflect and you ask yourself questions about this interest that you are pursuing and the utility involved. So another reason why it's only 1 month instead of longer is because you don't want to be sticking with something that you don't enjoy for too long, right? That's how people end up in jobs that they fucking hate. Is they stick with something they don't like for too long rather than pivoting and finding a better way of doing things, right? So a month is a good way to spend this. Of course, all of this is variable. A month is just my way of doing it. But the questions that you need to ask yourself after 1 month, and you should be documenting all of this. Open a Notion page or in your journal or whatever, document this entire process for a month. And the questions that you should ask yourself, I'm just going to read them off the screen, so excuse me while I look down. But is this something I want to pursue further? Do you want to pursue it or do you want to drop it? Be honest with yourself. Take some time to meditate on that and give yourself a day. Walk around, let your subconscious think about it. The next one, am I excited to dig into more books or content about this, right? Are you excited to watch more YouTube videos? Are you excited to read more blog articles? Are you just buying books left and right because you can't stop reading them? It's a good sign. The next thing, does this skill or interest have utility? Are other people monetizing it? This is just a way of the world, right? You can be passionate about things without monetizing them, but if you are not passionate about the problem that you are solving in business, as I said earlier, work is a necessary part of life. And if you do not enjoy it and you are not at least somewhat passionate about it, why would you continue doing that? It's a huge part of your life. Why would you have 30% of your life just doing something you don't enjoy? It doesn't make sense. Next thing, what problems could I solve with this? Can I see myself pursuing this as my life's work? So, you have to just see what kind of problems can you solve with this. With bodybuilding, you can solve the problem of weight loss, muscle gain, feeling confident in your own skin. There's a lot of biological problems there that people struggle with on a daily basis that your knowledge on bodybuilding can solve for them. And again, back to the previous question, people are already monetizing that, and that is a very good sign. How do I explain this? You don't have to be original you have to do what works, and you have to put yourself in the middle of where money is already flowing, because it's a tested market. You doing something original in that space isn't going to do anything for you. The way you are original is how you present yourself as a personal brand, because no one can replicate your experiences and your lens of viewing this stuff and actually applying the information. But also, since you've been documenting this entire process and you paid attention to the information that stuck out to you that caused that dopamine spike, when you come from that angle of like that most interesting aspect of it for you, that is also going to set you apart from the competition. All right, last question you ask yourself when you're reflecting on this is, did this exploration make me aware of a new avenue that I want to explore? So rather than dropping the interest as a whole, would you rather pivot and go down another way, right? So instead of bodybuilding, did you get interested in CrossFit? I don't recommend CrossFit, but did it interest you in CrossFit? If you're passionate about that, go for it. Did it interest you in yoga? Did it interest you in nutrition? Did it interest you in all these other things? Now, this does not mean that you have to drop bodybuilding as a whole, but it does create the potential for more intersections there. How do yoga and bodybuilding come into play? Right? That would set you apart in the market. Yoga and bodybuilding are both very profitable, but how are you going to combine the two? And what is the problem you're solving with that? You see what I'm saying? So with that, that's my entire process. And aside from that, there isn't much else I have to say. So with that, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you're supposed to do. Please help out with the algorithm. Really helps me looking to grow. Leave a comment if you have any questions. And if you want my business systems, if you want my proven processes, performance, spirituality, mind, body, spirit, all of that stuff. Plus, when you join, you get 3 courses free. So if you want to learn how to market and sell according to the passion you just developed and actually make money with it through proven methods, then click the link in the description for Modern Mastery HQ, which is the private community, and you get personalized help on top of that from me and other 6-7 figure just business owners in general. So with that, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have an incredible day. Peace out. Like, subscribe. Love you.